4th and goal to go to 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Here is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
Go over the depth chart real fast, but with the cornerbacks. Okay, and then I'm going to go. There's going to be some interesting math going on here. Very, very interesting math. How many? Because I'm going to get to the cornerbacks in just a second here, but you figure, right? You got the 53-man roster, right? Now, if you look at it, right, you got the long snapper, right? You got a punter, you got a kicker. That's 3 guys. Take the 3 off the 53, gives you 50, right? Now, if you split that right down the middle, half, right? 25 for offense, 25 for defense. So, I mean, it's going to be kind of, very, very interesting math here because if you listen to Big Blue Kickoff Live, the tight end room, we don't have, it's not like we have, 3 Hall of Fame tight ends on the roster, right? But we got a lot of guys that, can all bring a little something to the team, right? And so there's like 5 tight ends. It would be a shame to cut one of them or put one of them on the practice squad. It'd be very, very interesting to see. But let me go over. All right. Okay, let me share my screen once again here. Let me go find it. Got to find a depth chart here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. All right. So let's quickly go over the defense here. All right. Make sure we go over those. Right. So we got the cornerbacks here, right? So we got it. Obviously, we know we got a Debo, we got Banks, and we got Phillips. Now, right behind. Now, I don't know why they have Flott behind Phillips. I think that's a boo-boo here. Flott's not a backup. He should be on the boundary. Okay. But if you notice here, the cornerback, you got Corey Black now. He's a 7th round pick, right? If he doesn't make the team, it's. A lot of 7th rounders don't necessarily make the team. But if you notice here, we got Hawkins, we got Flott, right? But behind them, right? That's it, right? Now we got TJ Moore and O'Donnell Fortune. But we got D. Williams, right? Nick Jones and Art Green. Okay, so there's a lot of competition there. Okay, now I have not. I really haven't heard a whole heck of just during training camp. So far, it's not. Training camp hasn't been 95% of the way through. We haven't played all 3 preseason games, all that. But I haven't heard a heck of a lot about Corey Black. It may be a little here, a little there, but nothing super spectacular. I've heard a couple things about Trey Hawkins. I've heard some good things about Flott, right? Art Green, a little bit about Nick Jones. Haven't heard a whole heck of a lot about him. But, of course, as I was just talking about with D. Williams there, okay? And then you got these other guys in the back here. T.J. Moore and O'Donnell Fortune, I really haven't heard much of anything about, right? But so we've got a lot of guys, but it's going to be interesting to see behind Debo, Banks, Phillips, and Flott, how many cornerbacks are they going to, probably going to be 4 safeties and possibly maybe 6 cornerbacks. That would give you 10. That would give you 15 between the defensive linemen. You keep 4 edge rushers. That will give you 14. Keep 4 off-ball linebackers. That give you 18. That would give you 7 defensive linemen. It's possible. Yeah, I'll have to wait and see. But, it's going to be very, very interesting to say. There's a lot of competition. But now if we go back here, as I said, this is, once again, it's going to be the numbers game here, right? How many wide receivers are they keeping? How many tight ends? And how many running backs? Now, of course, one thing is, can Cam Scatterboo, can he stay healthy, right? Can he keep his hamstring under control? And we'll have to wait and see if it is a hamstring. But that's the reports I read. Some type of an injury. But I mean, the problem is, I said you got Tracy, you got Singletary, you got Scatterboo, and you got Miller. Now, let's not forget about Eric Gray either, but he's on PUP right now. So, he's really, and Rashawn Baker, he got hurt the other day too. But I mean, Eric Gray, he's like falling behind, so he's gonna have a hard time making this roster here. But the thing is with Turbo Miller, I mean, everything. Once again, I hate keep talking about Big Blue Kickoff Live. But I listen to them every day. And the thing is, because those guys are in the building every day. They see, that they work for the Giants, right? They don't cover, it's not like they're in there on media day or whatever. They're there every day. Yeah. So they see what's happening. A lot of what they talk about with Turbo Miller is, the dude's got, he's got like a third gear. It just once he gets in the open, and if there's no one, he's gone. So he's real fast. I mean, it'd be a shame, they're going to keep 3 running backs and try to put one of those guys. I mean, because Scatterboo's not going on the practice squad. I got news for you. Singletary's not going on the practice squad, and Tracy's not going on the practice squad. So they keep 3, right? They will maybe try to keep Turbo on the practice squad. Now, here, like, where are we at here? Okay. Now, as I said, I mean, they've been talking a lot, like, once again, Big Blue Kickoff Live, about maybe possibly keeping 4 tight ends. And even with that, the one thing is you talk about with Greg Dulcich over here, okay? He has a connection, right? He played with Russell Wilson in Denver, right? And once again, we're not talking Greg Dole. We're not talking about a Hall of Fame tight end. We're not talking about an All-Pro. But he's not a bad tight end, right? He might want to be getting put on the practice squad, right? But I mean, I really can't see where the Giants would only keep maybe 3. I'd be shocked if Fedoni goes on the practice squad. I mean, they just drafted the guy. Johnson's not going on the practice squad. And Manhurts, he's their big blocking tight end, right? He has his own skill set to him, okay? I'd have a hard time seeing him being on the practice squad as well. The only thing is that with Daniel Bellinger, it can be interesting to say. This will be his last season, possibly with the Giants, right? But they were seeming to think that on Big Blue Kickoff Live, they might keep up to 4 tight ends, right? So if you keep 4 tight ends, you keep 3 running backs, that gives you 7. Now you're down to 18. All right, for the offense. You keep 3 quarterbacks, that brings you down to 15. Okay. They're going to keep 5 wide receivers. They're going to keep 6. Interesting because you got, we just brought back Gunnar Olszewski, and we got Smith-Marsette, right? Are those 2 going to make the team? Ihmir Smith-Marsette was good at kickoff returns. Gunnar Olszewski was good at punt returns. But, I mean, Smith-Marsette wasn't doing, from what I heard, right, wasn't doing too bad in training camp as far as receiving. He was doing okay. if somebody gets injured, right, is that somebody you can put in there and rely on? Because if we got Hyatt, we got Malik, we got Slayton, we got Wan'Dale, we got those 4 guys, all right? I said, you're going to keep 4, you're going to keep 5, maybe Ihmir, Smith-Marsette, they'll give you 5 wide receivers, and maybe keep a 6th one. So if you got 6 wide receivers, you have 4 tight ends, 3 running backs, 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks. That would give you 9 offensive linemen you can keep. Now the Giants have a ton of offensive linemen. So once again, it's all a numbers game. Do the Giants think that they can, who do they think they can maybe put on the practice, without maybe losing them or without? Because if you look at Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan, they're not putting Jameson Winston on the practice squad. They're not putting Jackson Dart on the practice squad. They're not putting Russell Wilson on the practice squad. If they do put a quarterback on the practice squad, it's going to be Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan, right? Now, the thing is with him, he's shown with a crappy team, not very good offensive weapons, not very good offensive line play, that he actually can win some football games, right? Somebody might scoop him up, right? The same thing with maybe a Greg Dulcich. He might get scooped up as well. Turbo Miller was on the practice squad last season, and he stayed there, okay? But also another thing they were talking about on Big Blue Kickoff Live is these games coming up, okay? If one of these guys in one of these exhibition games has a really good game, like say, I'm just saying Turbo Miller has a really good game or 2 in these exhibition games, the film's out there on these guys. And if you want to put them on the practice squad, you're almost, basically just saying, there you go. He's all yours. Come on and get him. Now, the thing is, it's just, you just can't pick them up from the Giants practice squad and throw them on your practice squad. No, you got to put them on the 53-man roster, I think, for at least 3 games. Okay. But the Giants, for the first time in maybe quite a while, they're going to have some very difficult decisions to make. I know in the past they had a bunch, maybe sometimes they had maybe a bunch of wide receivers, and it was going to be difficult with the wide receivers, but we didn't necessarily have a lot of tight ends or vice versa, or maybe with the running backs, and stuff like that. But we're starting slowly. You're starting to see maybe not only do we have maybe some depth, right, at certain positions, and maybe not most positions, but we're also getting maybe a little bit of extra too, right? That wasn't always the case, right? So got to give some credit maybe to Shane and company, right? Because not only would help building a roster, but for the first time in maybe quite some time, we're actually getting some depth on the roster. So it's going to be certainly without question going to be a numbers game. You keep 3 running backs, or do you keep 4? If you keep 4 running backs, do you keep 3 tight ends? If you keep 3 running backs, you keep 4 tight ends. Maybe between running backs and tight ends, you got a grand total of 7, right? If you got 7 there, what are we looking at as far as wide receivers? We're looking at, 5, or we're looking at 6. And if you're looking at just 5 wide receivers, right, who the Fab 4 are, is that 5th wide receiver going to be the one doing the punt and kickoff return? Now, of course, it doesn't have to be a wide receiver who returns the kicks. It can be a cornerback, right? The only thing, of course, what winds up happening, is like when we had, remember that with Dory Jackson, we turned a punt a couple of years ago, and he wound up getting injured, and of course, and everybody winds up, what are you doing? Putting him in there? What are you stupid? No, it is what it is. It's it's football, right? Things happen. But once again, it's all a numbers game, So if we have between running backs and tight ends, we have 7, and we're gonna keep 5. We're gonna keep 6 wide receivers. That would give you what, maybe up to 13. Keep 3 quarterbacks, it'll give you 16, and maybe 9 offensive linemen. And that's going to be that's going to be tough too. I mean, because you figure you got Thomas, you got Runyan Jr., John Michael Schmitz, Evan Neal, you got Illuminor, Van Roten, right? I know they like Jake. They're pretty high on Jake Kubas, right? I want to give Ezeudu, right? This is his last hurrah, right? Can he make a name for himself? Right? This is his 4th year, right? Because let's not forget, we had McKeithen, we had Ezeudu, and we had Neal in the 2022 draft. So that, McKeithen's no longer on the team, but this is Ezeudu's last season, unless we bring him back and we sign him. So I'm not sure if they're going to want to let him go. Almost forgot our draft pick, Marcus Beaux, right? He's not going on. I have a hard time believing he'd be going on the practice squad either. So, we got some tough choices, some really tough choices coming up. So that's the one nice thing, the really nice thing about these exhibition games coming up. Now, be interesting to see, as always, how much time does the offense, and the defensive starters get week 1? Do they get the first quarter, right? And then they pull them out, and then, all the backups start going in there. And I said, that's the one thing is, going from 4 preseason games, now we're down to 3. Then, of course, inevitably, seems like we're going to be going to 18 regular season games. And if you go to 18, you're only going to get maybe 2 preseason games. And those 2 preseason games are going to be huge for these guys that, going to be trying to make the 53. Absolutely huge.